Hi, my new student dialogue was called Paying for Equality, Female or Remale, and we mainly talked about the like just obviously like equality between men and women, and we mainly focused on the workforce. And two of the things we talked about, one was payroll and how oftentimes men are paid more than women to do the exact same job just because that's how it always has been, and um, that gap is still there, and so that was something that we said definitely needs to change. But men, besides like politics, and I mean obviously there are some other things, but like women do still have a lot of jobs that men do. Like there are more male doctors, but there are definitely a lot of female doctors too. And one of the things that my group came up with something you're told when you're young about being or in the workforce is that a man will be a doctor and female will be a nurse, and we thought that was good because like that often is true, but it was more than just those two jobs. It was like the metaphor of like the man's always in charge of everything, and the female or like the man's like in charge and like makes all the big decisions and does all the like big deciding stuff, but then the female is the one that does all the busy work. And like but like a doctor would be nowhere without his nurse, so we thought that was a like good metaphor. And then another thing we spent a lot of time talking about was stay-at-home moms, and how like a lot of moms or just women in general are seen as someone who should just like take after like their house, like do everything for their husband, take after their kids, do the laundry, cook meals, like everything like that. And then the dad is the breadwinner for the family and he provides all the money. But then a lot of us in our group were like, well, my dad has a job, but my mom also has a job too. But even though my mom works just as many hours as my dad does, she's still the one that takes care of us when we're sick and does most of our laundry and cooks supper for us and everything else. So we thought that was interesting. But then there were a few people in my group that spoke up and said that their dads had lost their jobs, so that their mom was the one that was working and their dad was the one who was doing everything else that a mother typically does in a family. So I thought that was really interesting. But our group had a lot of diversity. Like some people spoke the entire time. They responded to every single question or item that the that either the instructor said, and sometimes they were like saying good things. Other times you could tell they were speaking just to speak because they liked the sound of their own voice. But so there were definitely some active voices, but there were other ones that were like never said a word the entire time. They would be like, okay, everyone please participate, and they would just kind of look at the ground. I don't know if it was because they were shy or just if they thought they were too good, or maybe they just didn't have anything to say, but there were definitely some quiet ones. But there are also ones in between that said some really good things, but they didn't speak every time. They only spoke when they thought it was necessary. So that was good. I think that I was probably one of the ones, or I know I didn't respond to every single thing that was said, but if I had something that I thought would have added to the conversation in a positive way, I definitely spoke my voice and like said what I had to say. Especially since I went to an all girls school from the age that I was 6. I'm a big like believer in male and female equality, because we were always told that like girls rule, boys drill, basically, and so I know, I'm just a big believer in that. Um, but I think that dialogues are important because like they told us at the beginning, like no one's trying to beat anybody, or no one's trying to like win, or no one was trying to like shove a belief down your throat. It was just everyone was discussing and like talking about like experiences that they've had, and just like saying anything they could to add to the conversation, but it wasn't forced. Like everything was natural and no one was just like, I don't know, it was nice to just be able to speak what was on your mind and not be judged for it and know that it was just gonna stay in the room. And I think that's a good thing to have as a requirement of C1000, because obviously we're all new to the whole college environment, and there are literally thousands of people around you that you don't know. And it's a good way to get to know people and feel more comfortable and know that you're not the only one that's feeling the same way, that like there are other people around you in similar situations that are like going through things. And I don't know, I thought it was definitely a like good thing, and I'm glad I did it, and we learned a lot. And I also had no idea that there was a difference between a dialogue, discussion, and a debate before, really. So that was a good thing to know the difference, and like realize that there definitely is a difference. And I'm glad that we were in a dialogue, not a debate, because that would have been much less comfortable and seen more force. But overall, I thought it was a good experience, and I'm glad I got to do it.